The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse Ewell. This is the habit-based lifestyle where you can access your full potential right now. Finally break free from destructive habits. That dream life, if you want it, you can have it. This is where you transform your health, mind, business, and relationships, or do nothing and keep your life the way it is. But if you're ready for change, you're in the right place. This is where you're gonna learn how to live a habit-based lifestyle. You are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse Ewell. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.
All right, guys, I want to welcome you back to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Ewell, and today we're going to be talking about habits that grow versus habits that multiply. Now, if you're going to listen to today's episode, we're going to get a good idea of what it really means when a habit will grow and a habit will multiply. And I'll break this down, and I'll even give you some examples of what this looks like so that you really understand that you're going to have habits that are categorized in these separate areas. And so you can really see how you can grow with your habits and then how you can multiply the effect of your habits. So let's get into today's episode. So number one, let's talk about this. Habits that grow are habits that you may start small in, and then they grow bigger and bigger over time. And the goal with these is to grow with them so that we start seeing a bigger result. And I'll give you an example, working out. Okay. And so working out is a habit. Like, let's say we created a habit of working out and we started with 5 minutes. What this really allows us to do is to be able to grow into more time, more duration. And that's really how we begin to see the effect of it. Now, doing 5-minute workout, you probably aren't going to see a big result from that. Doing a 10-minute workout, you're probably not going to see a big result from that. But like once you start getting up to the 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 minutes, that habit is now it's much more effective. And kind of, it makes you grow to the place where it's the optimal effective dose. And that over duration. So a 5-minute workout compared to a 45-minute workout, well, the effect of that is getting to a place where we now see the result of it. And we could even say, okay, up to an hour, but that habit takes time to grow to before you start really seeing the benefit of it or the effect of it. Now, in the beginning with everything, we want to see that. Now, the other side of it is we can actually have some habits in this that might possibly be like delegation. And so what I'll think of is imagine if I started reaching out to 5 or 10 or 15 people every day for business. Now, imagine if I had 3-4 other people in my office doing the same thing. So we went from doing 5 each, 10 each, 15 each, 20 each. All of a sudden, that habit began to grow and you began to see the effect of that. And very similar to what's another one that I would think about? Maybe meditation. So meditation is something that you might start smaller on 2 to 5 minutes, and then it might grow into 15 to 20 minutes before we start really seeing the effect of that. Now, meditation isn't quite like working out. It's, what I find is most habits, for them to be effective, they're probably done less than 20 minutes. The only habits that I really know that actually are more beneficial or most likely more beneficial are going to be working out and maybe a few others. But working out, really, you begin to see the effect of that over a duration of time. And so growth means that habit is going to grow with us over time, the more often we do it and the longer duration we do it. And so that allows us to grow in that place. So whether it's working out or whether it might be marketing or some type of lead system, we can grow into that. Now, let's talk about multiplying. Now, multiplying means that the more often we do this, it has a multiplication effect. It has a compound effect. I think of, the number one thing that would really multiply is prayer. Doing it consistently every day, you see a multiplication effect of that, which is really, really powerful. You could even say working out a little bit, but I'm going to say working out is more of a grow habit, where prayer is a more compound effect, a multiplication effect. The more often we do it, the more often we take time. Even journaling, something like that has kind of a compound effect to it. A lot of our habits will fall into the multiply or the compound effect. The more often we do it, it's not necessarily the duration that makes it effective. It's the compound effect of just doing it over and over. And that's what really makes it effective. And so some of the things that, prayer would be one, journaling might be the other, reading, there's obviously we can read for 30 minutes, but what I've come to find out is even reading for like 10, 15 minutes, there seems to be a compound effect of learning every single day. And it's not necessarily the duration of what I'm learning. It's more of like, hey, can I take something I'm learning in 10 or 15 minutes? And that has some kind of compound effect on growth, compound effect. Also, showing up every single day, maybe on social media, putting some type of content out there, it gives you a compound effect of what you're actually doing. And so the cool thing with this is to really think about, habits don't necessarily affect you today, tomorrow, the next day, but they have a multiplication effect the more often you do them. And the more often you do them, the bigger and greater results you'll see on the other end of it. And so whether you're doing a habits that grow, habits that multiply, the important thing is that both of these done over time will have you grow and have a compound effect on your life. Like you'll literally look back in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days and be like, oh my gosh, look how much different my life is because I started doing this one thing, every single day. And so that is the true power in that. Now, what should I use as a focus on growth or habits that grow? What should I use as a focus on habits that multiply? Think about the ones that multiply, maybe aren't necessarily it's not about the amount of duration or time you do them. It's about the consistency of that, and then we think about the habits that grow in duration of time as we get better, or even grow in duration of capacity. Those are what really help us. And so, if you're listening to this, you can start kind of categorizing your habits that grow and your habits that multiply and be like, hey, this is a habit that's actually going to have a compound effect. I'm not going to see the day to day, could be flossing. It could be just putting your shoes on before you go to the gym. It could be putting your clothes out the night before. It could be adding green vegetables to each meal that you have. Like you may not see the effect of that today. You may not see the effect of it, but over time, it's going to have a compound effect on that. And that is the true power in these. And so you'll kind of have two categories, habits that are going to have you grow, and you're going to grow with it in time, duration, all those things. But you're also going to have habits that multiply, which you're going to see over a period of time, you doing them. There's going to be this massive compound effect, almost like an investment that you're putting $1 in every single day, or you're putting $100 in every single day. And over time, you see the compound effect of that. And so that's really the difference between those two things. Now, if you guys have any questions on this, you're like, okay, well, what do I do with these? Number one, put your habits in categories. Is this a habit that's going to make me grow, or is this a habit that I'm going to do every single day that I'm going to see the compound effect of that, and I can't get caught up in the duration? The other one is allowing me to grow to a place to where it might take me 30 days to get to my normal amount that's going to be the most effective dose for me. But in the meantime, I'm going to focus on, making sure that I get my time and increase that all the time. So if you guys have questions, hit me up, Jesse@habitbasedlifestyle.com. Thanks for joining today's podcast, and we'll talk to you soon.
The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse